Yeah, where are we?
Page Nun, letter Aleph, the first one.
Oh, right. Is boyer shekasher yatzach hakeser nishtabu rak hamalchus b'kol in the ranchi. Okay, so we're back to this idea. So yeah.
Yes, the previous paragraph we went through that as the lights come out of the peda'ak, the only thing that's b'shlemos is Malchus. That gets all it's mashlam, each of the pieces of the naranchi, but everything else is missing something. And it goes back up to try to, I guess, get it shlemos.
That's the idea.
Right.
Okay, let's see what he says here. So amna b'becha b'keser nimsas hamalchus shalem b'cha b'kol chamisha oresecha hapenimin. So we're talking about them going back into the peda'ak.
Right.
Shehem nefesh ruach neshama chai yechida. So that is the completion. He said. The Perika Kodin is bar shekal svir sheyatz mepeda'ak heir or ba'atzmuso. It shines its own light. V'gam garam al yidei riboy ha'or, because its light, as they come out successively, is going to be stronger. She'yatosvach bechinas ha'oras shalamata b'mena, so that it can add in lights from what's down below. V'lachen k'shiyas sfiras ha'keser da'kudim. Yatza achron min past. So this is the last one that comes out of the mouth. The Malchus bechinas yechida, which is the highest level. The nimsa shecha b'malchus the kudim sheyatzer rishonim in the peh nishla b'bekol chamisha oros naran chai. Well, he calls it naran chai like that. The penimin shalom. That is his penimius. Akadayim, but he wants to tell you something else. He didn't count on. It's not complete. Ki lo kibla chadayim es oros makifim. So we said. There should be 10 lights of Makifim, 5 lights of Makifim, and 5 lights of the penimin. But actually, there's only 2 Makifim. So therefore, in order to be completely shalom, you have to have that. Okay, you want to read a little bit too?
Yeah. Each one of the, right, we said each one of the only. Trying to figure out which was the 4.
Well, he'll tell you.
He's going to explain that. The other series, pretty higher than Malchus, are not b'shleimus. Sharei kol surah nitoisuf b'china achas al yidei riboy ha'or shenigram b'tzeis ha'series mipeda'ak. Each one gets an additional level as the spheres come down mipeda'ak. Nimtzo shebe'es yitzias hakeser. Nitoisef b'malchus b'chinas yechida, nitoisef b'za b'chinas chayo, u'b'bina rak b'chinas neshamo, b'chachma b'chinas ruach, v'harei shahayu adayin sha'ar hasiris chaseris ez b'chinas. Except for malchus, everything else is missing a piece. Right. Some are, the higher they get, it sounds like the more they're missing.
Right. So the kach, for this reason, chutzruch and lachso, the alos, so this alos is like more passive, like it be brought up. Ela ma'atza the kabba b'menet tashlumechem, so they'd be able to get the tashlumen.
Meaning the Matzel intended it to be that way, that not everything should be v'shlemos at this point.
Yeah, that's right. This sounds to me like it's a little bit like the concept of tshuva. In order to become. Well, we're going to see more about that, about Mayim Nukvin and other things that have to do with that.
Okay.
But by themselves, they're missing something. So, this was his original idea, so that they had to go back into the peda'ak, in order to be able to receive their lights. He said, at the time that they go back in, it doesn't come back. We mentioned this also, that the way that it worked is that the more refined part of it is the part that's lighter, so it's like more like air, and as a result, it will float up. But the rest of it, nishar lamata, because it's a little bit leaden. That's how the Kli of Akudim came about. You just reviewed that idea, right?
Right. As everything is going back, the keser, which is the highest, goes back first. That which came out last of the pedak goes back rishon, which makes sense. Okay, seems to indicate that the malchus has to go back for a minute also, but we're
going to see how that works.
Right. Okay, because the aris, as they leave the pedak, they come out from backwards. The lowest one coming out first. So therefore, nimtza she'akeser emid karev el hapem mishar sviras. It's the closest because it came out last. L'chein kasher asviras chazru la'alais lepedak. When they return to the pedak, haya seder aliyasam hefech seder yitziasam. They're going back up is the opposite of how they came out. First, the highest one goes back, which is the keser. Also achrona.
Zeso the pasuk. This comes to the pasuk in Yeshaya. Ani rishon v'ani achron. That's the same thing we talked about keser. So this works for both. Now later on we may find out that Kesser is also Malchus.
Okay.
Because the Kesser, the lower, could be the Malchus of the upper. So Amni Kesser, Amni Malchus, so it's actually the same thing. So you see this, I don't know if you ever look at the Patach Aliyah. You ever see that?
I've seen, yeah.
Okay, so in there he says the same idea. But they're the opposite. Like I wrote, ani hu kinoi ala malchus. When you use the word makim, that's another word for malchus. Which is interesting to think about the possibility. But if you kucho ain, but you can switch the letters around, you get to the word ain hu kinoi ala keser. Keser is nothing. So the pasuk ani rishon v'ani achron. Shebachim rumal zecha b'sfira keser. Here is a reference to the sphere called keser. So the sphere is Keser Malchus. Okay, Malchus nikwas ani, because Malchus is called ani. But Keser nikwas ein. Shul osios ani, same letters. But ubir pasuk hu b'shnei alfanim. The echad of the Keser hasheni, the hasheni ala Malchus. One talk Keser, one called Malchus, one's talking about Malchus. But often a rishon hu shechab Malchus nikwas ani, that the Malchus is called ani. He rishon that sees bepeda'ak. Ani goes first. V'chein he achron b'choliyah the peda'ak, but it's the last one to go into the peda'ak. V'ofen hasheni hu shahakesed nikra ein. Shuhu osius ani. Shuhu achron v'yitzias mepeda'ak. It's the last one. As he say, just repeating it. V'chein hu rishon b'choliyah the ped. So it's going to be the first one. It's going to be closer to the peda'ak, and it's going to be the first one to go back. Hu olav v'niknas b'rishona, because it goes in first.
When the keser is hidden in its source, also hachachma, meaning once it goes back up.
Yeah.
Also hachachma b'makam hakeser, so then the chachma goes up to the makam hakeser. V'habina b'makam hachachma. V'chein al derech zeh kulam ad shenimtzas hamalchus b'makam hayisayid. So okay, let's read this.
They're like at a chain.
Right, and it sounds like not everything is going all the way back up.
They're going at stage by madregos.
Right. As they return, they go up and they return to the matzel. Mekables hasfiros tosefes bechinos. Each one gets a new bechina. The term kenisasam ala pedak before they go back into the pedak. V'hasibol zehu lihiyos shehasfiros miskarvim el ma'atzilam shua pedak. As the spheres get closer to the matzel, yesh lahem riboy or, their light increases. I'm guessing because they're returning to the source of the light.
Right.
So therefore they increase in their bechinos. How would you translate that?
Just aspects.
Aspects.
It's a word everybody's using it. So
the kvar nisbar la'el we learned earlier the perkin shebeis shechazru ha'eres les alas alamatzel Allah ha'er hazach shabai. The lightest or purest light goes back up. So the keli comes from the thicker part of the light. as the Keser returns to the Pedak, Hagam Shahar Nis'ala El Sharashai, although the light returned to its source, Im Kolzeh Nishar B'Mkoimai Kli Reik Shahu Ha'ar Ha'av. So there's a empty Keli, which is the thicker part of the light of Keser, which came out of the Pedak, remained in the place of Keser, not meaning outside of the Pedak. V'liyas Shekli HaKeser Omed Reikon, because that Kli now stands empty, so the pure, refined light of the lower place, which is Chachma, goes back through that. It sits now in the Kli of Keser. And now, because the light, so just like the light of Keser went up and left behind the Av, which is the Kli of Keser, so too the same thing happened with Chachma. So all Hazach Shel Habina El Makam HaChachma. As each one's going back up, it's filling the keli of the one above it. Shahayu olim bazar chazeb madrega achar madrega al derech zeh shezacharnu b'chachmu v'vino v'chol aliyah v'aliyah hayu asiris miskarvis al pedak. As they're going up each madrega, they're getting closer to the pedak. Nimsa she'ar hamalchus nislavish b'kli hayisaid. I'm guessing that all means in the first madrega of it, but then meaning as they continue to climb,
they're going to go to other ones.
To other kelim, right.
Okay, so, right. What happens then? The Taisid Ba'or, the more light comes into Malchus. Makif Echad, remember, it didn't have the Makifim. So as it moves up one, it gets one Makif Echad, so there's a Chai penimin, but this is going to be the Chai Makif. As it goes now up into Kli of Yisod, Gorm Sheyatosif law, Od Bechina Achas. It's going to get another aspect. Call up penimin, it already has a Narantri, it has its own Narantri. Kibla Tosefis or Shukur Makif, it gets now added on to that a Makif. The first Makif, Hanikra of a Makif, the Chaim. It's the same quality as the Chai penimin, but we know that the Makif is a much stronger light. Right. But I'm not sure what he meant by that. He connected Chai penimin. Now, I don't know what he means by connected. It's not exactly equal, but I guess he means that in the panoply or the arrangement of the Naranchi, we're not talking about the Naran on the Makif, and we're only talking about the Chai Yechida, so I guess.
So why is the first one only connected Chayo? Why? Meaning, like, maybe it should be the Yechida.
So he's going to explain to you. It has to go closer. Well, Yechida is a higher light, so it gives you a better idea on Chayo. Right. So the Tom Shalom Makif the Nefesh before Rabbi Perik. I don't know what he means by the Makif of Nefesh. This is the Makif. I don't know what that meant. Batam Shalo Kiblo Makif the Nefesh. We'll find out what he means. Oh, there is nothing added into the Kli of Kesa, a Kli of Makif, of Malchut, Batam Shalo Kiblo Makif the Nefesh. The Nefesh would be the lowest part, which would be the Malchut. Nothing's added over there. I'm not sure what that means. We'll see what he means.
Yep. V'gam za ele madriga achas. So too, after the Malchus goes up one madriga, the za, which are the chagas and hai, goes up also one madriga. V'azni teisuk by b'chinas yechida min ha'eres ha'penimin. Right. So the za is missing one of the penimin lights. It only has 4. So that one has to first, I guess, fill its penimin eres first, and only afterwards could it start working on the makifim. So therefore, it fills first its nitaisif the bechina of yechida min ha'eres ha'penimin. Va'ata nishlamu loi hey eres ha'penimin. So now it has the shlemus of the narachi of the penimin. Kamesha ur hamalchus nichnas b'kli ha'yisaid. So too, when the malchus goes up, it goes into the kli ha'yisaid. Kach ela ur hazah or havak.
Hazah is the vak.
They're very interchangeable. These like sometimes he says chagas nai, sometimes he says zah, sometimes he says vak. Is there a shot in that?
Sure. Let's go on.
Okay. Madriga achas. So when it goes up on madriga, v'nichnas b'klei habina, the garam sheitesef loy al hanaranach on the nefesh ruach neshama chaya shahaya loy kvar oid b'china achas. It adds an aspect who b'chinas yichida shehu elyon min ha'penimin, the highest of the penimin lights. V'nimtza shehazah nishlam b'chol b'chinas ha'penimin. So
Okay.
now it's complete. It has all the lights in it. I guess that's through the keli of the
By moving up.
of the bina, right?
And as you said, you're closer to the Pada'ak. So now that you moved up, that Bina is going to be closer, and it's going to get the Chai Penimis now, because before it was in the Ran. Because the Orach of Malchus is a similar way that when that the light of Malchus was added onto it, it also went up one meg, law, now that it's by the Kli of Chochma, al in the Ran that he originally had, it has another Bechina to it. Chaim in the Oras penimin, and this is the aspect called Chaya, when we talk about the Oras penimin.
B'chachma, v'yitosef b'chinas neshama hapnimis, v'chein all hachachma b'kli hakeser. So to the chachma goes up into the kli hakeser. V'garam she'yitosef le'al hanar the nefesh ruach shehayoloi kvar oid b'china achas v'hu b'chinas neshama min ha'eres hapnimim.
Okay, keep reading. Go ahead, read a little bit.
You just see the top. How do you see the?
Yeah. Oh, we got a blurb up there.
Yeah. So
Okay. Yisbor shagam b'chaliyas hachachma netosef and netosef or neshar hasfiras shadayim lo alo. So everything is going to get more lights. He's just focusing on that one. So go ahead, you keep reading.
Yirala v'achakach also hachachma b'matzel. So then the chachma goes up, meaning the chachma which is already in the kli hakeser goes up to the peda'ak, but also habina b'makam hakeser. V'nitosef b'yichida hapnimis v'nishlama b'chol he'ereseh hapnimim. La'achar she'ol hakeser b'peda'ak, after the keser returns to the peda'ak, also gam hachachma l'peda'ak. Val yidei zeh nis'ala hasfiras b'madrego nisefes, all the spheres go up in madrego. V'yasiba shekol sphira mekabelas tesefes shel or al yidei hiskarvusa el matzel. That because they all got closer to the matzel, it sounds like there's a particular reason that the chachma, rejoined the peda'ak, but it sounds like that affects everything. V'ata kivan shenishar kli hakeser rekon, ola or shel bina l'makom hakeser v'nitosef lo al b'chinas hanaran cha shahoya lokvar b'chinas yichida pnimis. So now it becomes complete. V'nishlama habina b'chol eres hapnimim shala. So the bina has now a complete set of the 5 eres hapnimim. Asher ein kein hachachma shekodim chazaras al amatzel hoya lo rak naran cha. The chachma was missing so much before that even after it returned to the peda'ak through the clear of bina of keser, it was not hushlam yet. V'ashar nishlamu b'peda'ak, and I guess
Inside of the Peda'ak.
I mean that's where it gets its yichida.
That would be, maybe he says nishlama. So everything becomes completed once it gets into the Peda'ak.
Okay.
But everything's not going to go into the Peda'ak. The Zer Anpin is Thosibo Makif Echad. Now Zer Anpin now is going to have a Makif added onto it. It was on the Ranchi before. Now is it Ranchi? Al-Shecha Geneged Chaya Penimis. Al-Derek Or Abina, Sha'alsa B'Kli HaKaser, went into the Kli HaKaser. Kabal Kain all is Zer Anpin. Where does it go? It goes to the Makom of Chochma. And it gets another thing, another light added on. These are really taking the concept of light, whatever light means. He's saying it refracts at the 5 different parts plus 2 on the outside. So that's the idea of what light looks like. So he said, al hey bechinas the habenimim shehoyel dechakavar. Makif Rishon, which is called a nikra of Makif Chaya. Which was corresponding to that.
So Makif Chaya, meaning this is what he was
in
saying
Bina,
before.
has now a Makif Chaya. Or who has a Makif Chaya? So Hainu Shenosach below, that's their Anpin, Makif Rishon, and Nikra Makif Chaya. Okay?
Malchus, nitosef Makif Yeser Elyoin, asher keneged yichida pnimis. So Malchus, which is getting its second Makif already at this point, is getting the Makif that's Elyon Yeser, asher keneged yichida pnimis. Val derech zeh, also Or HaMalchus b'Kli Abina, as Malchus keeps climbing back up, it goes through the Kli Abina. V'nitosef lo b'chino achas al hei b'chinas naranchi hapnimim u'makif rishon shahel akvar, gets a new aspect. V'nitosef lo ato makif sheni hanekra makif diyichida shahu neged hayichida hapnimis, which is keneged the yichida pnimis. Again, he didn't really explain what this keneged means, but it sounds like these makifim are No, I was just thinking that the Makif Yechida. So he's saying that these Makifim are connected only particular parts of the Naranchi, meaning that there's a Makif of Yechida and a Makif of Chaya, but there's no Makifim for the other ones.
What's the other ones mean?
The Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama.
So yeah, that means it's like the bar light idea that I tried.
Right.
Okay, so that's like one light has 5 lights inside of it and 2 lights on the outside of it. Makifim. So as the lights are coming out of the Pada'ak, they have originally just one light illuminated within them. Okay, we're talking about light now, right? Not kalim, but light. So the light has 7 qualities to it, 5 penimin and 2 makifim. So as you get closer to the source of the light, it's just like getting closer to the sun. It keeps getting brighter, and it has an effect on what's down below by adding additional aspects of the light. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Just I think that what I'm thinking about is that why the Uris HaMakifim are connected specific aspects of the Uris HaPnimim, meaning maybe
they're not connected. Somebody said that. He said that. I know.
Yeah.
I know. You didn't get me with that one. I think all he meant to say was that at its level, in other words, Chai is higher than Neshama. And so that he would say you start out with the Makifim at the same level as the Chai penimin. But it's a Makif Chai.
it's a different type of light.
It's a bigger
Ultimately,
light.
right.
Yeah, it's a different, yes, what's the right word? Generational? I'm trying to get the right word. Okay, but anyway. Now, so where are we now? At
Yud Dalet.
Yud Dalet. Oh, we went to Yud Dalet. You're reading over here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to read the blur at the top. Yispar Shav Aliyas Habino Kona Zer Ampin Makif Sheni V'Hamachos Lekona Klum. The Malchus is finished at this point.
Right.
V'achakach Ol HaChesed Shebe Zer Ampin B'Makam HaKeser Ki Habino also L'Matzel V'Oz Nitosef Boi Gam B'chinas Makif HaSheni. So the Chesed of Zer Ampin gets its second Makif HaElyon Shekeneged Yechida HaPnimis. Achar HaKeser VaChochma Olu El HaMatzel. So those two are already back in the Peda'ak. Also Gam Habina El HaMatzel V'Nishar Kli HaKeser Reik. V'Oz Ol HaChesed Zer Ampin V'Nislabesh B'Kli HaKeser. I'm not clear as to why he only jumped on the Chesed of Zer Ampin as opposed to the other 5.
That's a good point.
But I'm just pointing that out.
Right.
Okay, V'nitosef le b'china achas al hei b'chinas naranchi. So it already acquired its 5 aspects of the penimin. Ha-penimin u'makif rishon shahir lekvar. And now it gets a new aspect. V'nitosef by ato makif sheni ha-nikra makif di yechida. Shehu keneged ha-yechida ha-penimis. Which is connected, it's the yechida ha-penimis. Okay.
Okay, so maybe we'll see someplace else that the concept of chesed really incorporates in some ways everything else that's below it. So you didn't have to say that. Maybe that's what he means. As it comes up, because there's a concept here of Yom Shekulo. So Yom a lot of times goes with the concept of Sphira. So there's 6 days of the regular week, and Shabbos, that's the 6, 7 Sphiros. And could be that, I don't know. We'll go on. But from the point that he has the 2 Makifim now, nothing gets added onto Zer Anpin, and the same thing is true of Malchus. Which is the Ranchi Penimin and the base Makifim the Chai Yechida. V'chazan nishlam also, because Zayin b'chinosel. So b'chinosel. Because she'alsech b'bina al ma'atzel, as bina went into the matzel, that finishes off Zer Anpin. V'alo orha the chesed v'makom kli ha'keser. So just one of the lights goes in. And misham v'elach no nitasav shum b'china the Zer Anpin. So once chesed, just telling you, once chesed goes into keser, that's it. No more lights are going to come back. No more illumination will be available. Below the Malchus, nothing else added into Malchus either. Because that one move of the 1/6 of it, going in the very first part, I guess that's like the leading part of it. So he says that they're all complete. Terem Alisom Chazar B'Peh Da'ak, and this happens before they ever get into the Peh Da'ak. The Chalom B'Perk, and later on here we're going to see V'Vayar HaRav Ma'achar Shenishla B'B'Kol B'Nesehem Lamet Tzrichem La'alol. So why do they have to go up anymore? Yeah, so I don't know what he means
we
there.
previously, said that the point of why they go back is really to get shleimus. And once they have it already, so it doesn't seem that that's necessary.
Yeah. Kan V'Vayar HaRav Hayinyan Lamba Yesh Ba'oris Apeh Rock Based Makifim. Why do the lights of the mouth only have 2 Makifim? So he said, Hey Makifim Keneged Hey Penimin. Now he kind of mentioned that right away, or earlier on. V'chein Yizbar Gam came Lama Oris and Makifim Hem Shel Chayev V'Hida Daika. So that goes on the question where he said Keneged before. V'gam Yizbar Lamba Meir Kodem Chayev Lama Kim Kodem Chayev V'achar Kach or a Makif the Yechida. So why does, I guess he meant to say, why does Chaya comes first? And then, that was also a question you asked, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see how we're going again.
Okay, test 9. We read the blur on the top. Yispar shebechol prat uprat yesh eser oros penimin ve'eser makifim ve'him nechlalim bepratos bechamesh bechinas naranchi. There's really 10 makifim and 10 penimin. So, okay, interesting. V'ha'inyan hu ba'akdama achas shetzarech sheteda. There's an introduction that we need to know. V'hu ki harei nisbar le'el ki b'chol b'china u'b'china u'b'chol olam v'olam u'b'chol partzuf u'partzuf yesh bei eser spheros le'pachas v'le'eser. There's 10 spheres. V'hem eres penimim asara v'eres makifim asara. So there's 10 spheres, and those are both reflected in. There's penimi and makifim of those. Nisbar le'el ki b'chol olam v'olam u'b'chol prat u'prat sheyesh bei lamis yesh by eser spheres lepachas le'eser ve'eser spheres pirushay sheyesh by eserim b'chinais shehim asar eres penimim v'asar eres makifim. So there's okay. So the meaning the 10 spheres really have each one has 2 parts, a penimi and a makif.
Okay.
Ha'amnam ha'asar ha'penimim, the 10 inner ones nechlalim b'chamisha levad. They have 5 categories.
Yeah, so they're, instead of being 10, they're 5.
Shehem keneged ha'chamisha sheyesh lohem b'chinas partzufim kaniska b'makom acher, like we said in the Shar Tanto in Parak Aleph. V'hem arich anpin, Abba, arich anpin is keser, Abba is chachma, Imo is bina, then we have zer anpin and nuk, which is malchus. V'hem atzmam nikram b'chinas chaya, yichida neshama ruach nefesh, shal klolos kol ha'olam v'olam v'vadai. V'chein al derech zeh b'makifim, ki hem asara v'nechlalim b'chamisha kanizgar. So too there are 10 that are 5 in the makifim as well. Ha'eser sirius heim keser chachma bina das, I guess. Chesed gvura tiferes netzach chayid yisod malchus. V'hem eschalkim l'chamisha partzufim. They are divided into 5 partzufim. Ki ha'keser hu partzuf arich ampin, v'chachma partzuf abba, u'bina hi partzuf ima, v'chagat nahai heim parts of echod hanikra zer ampin, umalchus nikra nuk de zer ampin. V'chamisha partzufim elu heim mechavnim neged hei bechinas naranchi dechol olam v'olam. The 5 partzufim are the 5 bechinas of nefesh ruach neshama chaya yechida. Ukashem sheba'eres hapnimim nechlalim ha'eser spheres bechamesh bechinas naranchi kein asara eres hamakifim gam kein nechlalim bechamesh bechinas naranchi nimtza sheyesh naranchi pnimim v'naranchi makifim.
Go ahead.
Yudches Amnam da ki b'chol ha'eres.
Yudches, you have a blurb at the top if you want to read it.
Okay. Yisbar shemipeh da'ak u'lamata yesh rak chomesh eres penimim u'shnei makifim v'atam al zeh. So although really in every olam and every parts of we said that there's really 10 and 10, which is really 5 and 5, but for some reason from the peh da'ak and down there's only 5 and 2. Omnam da ki b'chol ha'eres v'ha'olamis v'ha'partzufim yesh sheyesh min ha'chaytim shel ak u'lamalo, from the chaytim and above, b'chol partzuf u'partzuf mehem yesh tamid kol ha'bechinos elu shleimos. It's the complete set of the bechinos of the 5 and 5. Shehem chamisha eres ha'pnimim ha'kolim eser spheres pratim kanizkar, and chamisha eres ha'makifim ha'kolim eser spheres pratis kanizkar. So there's 5 and 5, like we said. That's all from the chaytim and above. Omnam ad tzarich l'das ki b'chol ha'olamis asher min ha'chaytim u'lamalo. V'hem eres hakarkafta. I think that means the skull, the head.
Yeah, the top of the head.
from there, v'ha'ezen, the ears, v'ha'ayin, the eyes, v'ha'chaitim, and the nose, v'chol ha'elamas shalamal mehem ad ein kates, all the way up, continuing going. Yesh b'chol echa mehem chamisha aris penimin v'chamisha aris makifim sheim eser sfiras penimin v'eser makifim. Umikol eser sfiras nasu chamisha partzufim hanekrom naranchi k'moshen ispar la'el. That all fits that mold that we've been talking about until now.
Okay, go ahead.
Ach min hapeh shel ak ulamata, from the peda'ak and down, ad seif ha'olamis, loy yesh rak chamisha aris penimin u'shnei makifim elyonim. It doesn't follow the same pattern. Rather, there's 5 aris penimin and 2 makifim. Shem keneged yichida v'chaya l'chol parts of mehem v'loyod. That it's only 2 aris makifim. Avol min hapeda'ak ulamata ad siyam olamais abia, until the ends of the 4 worlds of abia. Yesh mehem chamisha penimin u'makifim yesh rak shnayim. Shem makif chaya u'makif yichida b'vad v'suloy. Nothing else. So from there and down, the nefesh ruach neshama are not going to have eres makifim, or at least something that's connected them. Chaf ki ha'or nismai misham ulamata, because the light gets dimmer. Ulechein ba'olam zeh shel akudim, in this world of akudim, sheim eres hayetzim and apel l'chutz shel ak, loy haya by rak b'chamisha eres pnimim u'shnei makifim v'loy oid. You should remember this introduction, I guess so. Okay, because the light is getting dimmer as it moves away from the source, so it loses some of its aspects. So the eres hamakifim do not have the ability to light them up. They're very, very bright lights. That they could, I guess, move from a very, could light it up from a very far place. So why does the of chaya first, in the pathway with which they return, the makif of chaya is before what seemingly should be the brighter light of Yechida? That's the seder of how it gets its light.
How the partzufim get their light.
Why is that?
So read on a little bit. This is the way that they normally go. The lower one appears first. Okay. But the question is, why wasn't there Makifim of the Naran? It's still out there, isn't that question out there? Why aren't the Makifim called? And he already mentioned that, and why is it
Nefesh Neshama? Well, he said that it's just because the lights are not so bright, they can't reach that far.
Not strong enough to be able to do that. Okay.
That was what we said. We said this earlier at one point, that only the brighter light could reach the lower places.
Okay.
L'chein ben aranchi hapnimim meir tchila ben bechinas nefesh. With the Eres HaPnimim, first the Nefesh, the Ur HaNefesh is Meir, and then the lights that are above it, Ad HaYechida, HaMa'ula Mikulam, which is the highest of them. K'may Kain, Hu Gam Ba'eres HaMakifim, Shetchilos HaBechinos Mekabeles Es HaMakef HaKoton Dechaya. First it receives the small light, V'rak La'achar Mikain, Meir Bechinas HaMakef HaMa'ula V'Yechida. Okay, I have a guess that I'm making here.
Okay.
That
you
really
read this Hakdama. I'll read the little Hakdama here. We'll cuff out is the next one to go to.
Okay, so let's read Hakdama. Hakdama levar she ze'er v'nuk mushlamim b'chol pechinoseim kodim she'olu b'matzilam. Okay, then there was another thing that we spoke about. Is this part of the next?
It's a Hakdama to the next part. Let's just read it.
Okay, so we had said that Zera and Nuk both receive their complete
Naranchi and
Chayechida. Mepnei Kain Yis'er HaKushya Lama Hutzrach Zer v'Nuk Laha Lois B'Matzilam. Why do they keep going back up? Im Kedei Le'Shtalim B'Chol B'Chineseim. If the point was as to why they return to the Peda'ak to get their more light, so Harei Yesh Lahem Kol Hanaranchi Pnimin V'Abeis Makifim. They have it all already. So why do they keep moving upwards?
Okay, well that's what will be the next one.
Okay.
Okay, well that's very excellent. Very good.